That was 3 years ago, and after coming off birth control, my wife has felt better about our S word, has been worry-free since we can no longer get pregnant. We have S word fun more than when we were in college. Welcome to my luxury coach ride straight to hell. I'm Magic, and this is Magic's Monologue. In today's episode, a man finds out the truth about his wife and a good example of why you date for at least 4 years or more. But first, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and then smack that bell like you would joyfully smack a good booty, and help push this content out so more men can learn from it. So grab a cold one from the minibar in the back of the limo, and let's get this party coach rolling down to the boat on the River Styx. We spent 2 years together in college and got married the fall after we graduated. Spent 2 years exploring our relationship and finally got settled down and was ready to have a family. Okay, slap to the back of the head. Too soon, too early. In today's world, you take 4 years to get to know a woman before you marry her. Most of the time, people can't pretend that long, and it allows you to get a sense of her value systems or lack thereof in real time. She got off birth control, and her libido took off. It took 3 years for us to get pregnant. Us to get pregnant? Dude, we don't get pregnant. She gets pregnant. Stop it with the gynocentric, politically correct speech. Say the truth and call it what it is. We got a beautiful baby girl. Finally, after a couple of months, my wife got back on birth control and had a hard time with it. Her doctors switched her meds several times, but she had bad side effects with each one. We talked about it and were unsure if we wanted another child. And since it was easier for me to get a vasectomy, reversed later if we decided to have more children, I had the operation. That was 3 years ago, and after coming off birth control, my wife has felt better, and our S word fun has been worry-free since we no longer can get pregnant. There you go again. We have S word fun more now than when we were in college. Well, good for you. I'm sure many married men envy you about now. Then, 3 weeks ago, my wife was late for her period, which isn't that unusual for her. Then I noticed her breasts were a little tender, and she started what seemed like signs of morning sickness. Now I know there have been cases of nature reversing vasectomies, so I went to the doctor and had my sperm count checked, and the verdict was I'm still sterile, but I didn't tell my wife. I would have advised you not to tell her either, since A plus B is starting to not equal up to C. My wife finally went to her doctor and confirmed she was pregnant. So she had me go to my doctor to get tested. I didn't go right away because I was literally sick from the stress of the situation. I had all sorts of sick scenarios going through my head. And in the end, I got retested and I took my daughter in for a DNA test done. I got both test results back. Today, I got violently ill after reading them. Can we guess, gentlemen, what they said? Yes, I'm sterile. And no, my daughter is not mine. Okay, stop. First of all, I'm sorry this has happened to you. For marriage-minded men, this is one of several worst-case scenarios. As most men know, in a situation like this, there will be no winners and the biggest loser will be that little girl. I'm from the school that paternity fraud should be a serious crime, and that parental DNA testing must be made a viable option for all men at the time of birth. When my wife got home, I showed her my test, and she denied any wrongdoing. Of course she did. And said that there was a problem with the test. I showed her the test from last week, and she broke down crying. I finally got it out of her who she had slept with, and that it only happened once, and the condom must have failed. Typical plays right out of the SLUT Bible. Deny, deny, then if caught, say it was only once. Turn on the waterworks, then trickle truth, and play victim. Oh, and let's not forget promise to change. I made her tell me the story 3 times, and each time I asked her if that was the whole truth, and if there was anything else she needed to tell me, because another lie would mean we were through. She said that was the only time, and she had never done anything like this before. I told her how much this hurt me and asked her how she could do this to our family and if it was worth it. I asked her if she wanted a divorce, and she pleaded with me to forgive her and put this behind us. I said I couldn't raise someone else's child and asked her if she would be willing to terminate the pregnancy to stay together. She cried the rest of the night, but when we went to bed, she said she would do whatever it took to save our marriage. I never brought up the DNA test. Smart man. Save that round for the next battle. I will contact a lawyer next week to see what my options are. If I have to pay child support for our first child, if she had come clean about the father of the first child, I could have swallowed my pride and tried to work to forgive her, but she thought she was in the clear and didn't need to confess to anything else. No telling what. I'll never know. As I said from the start, a minimum of 4 years to learn her value system. Additionally, gentlemen, you need to look at her family, especially her mother. The adage, if you want to see what she will be like down the road, it's true. If her mom is divorced, you must find out the details. If her mom got bored and left, or was mom a cheater, then you need to know this. If she is the child of an addicted parent, do not play white knight. More often than not, they will eventually sabotage the relationship because it's all they know is toxic uncertainty, and will seek to create that which they grew up with. Do not fall into the trap of thinking you will be the exception to the rule of the apples not falling far from the tree. Lawyer update. My lawyer is awesome. He got himself a female lawyer, which most wise men know who's ever been through this. Get yourself a woman. My lawyer is awesome. She had me bring in a bunch of paperwork, bank statements, and my medical and DNA results. Had me tell her my story. Her assistant sat in with us and took notes while my lawyer went through my documents. After I finished, she asked a few questions and spelled out my options. I live in an at-fault state, which is good and bad. Good, as it gives us leverage. Bad, as it takes longer and much more expensive. In the case of the first child, if my wife agrees to sign the papers, my liability for child support is an easy fix. If she doesn't agree, then a court-ordered DNA test and a judgment from the court can remove me without my wife's consent. Either way, I will most likely not have to pay child support. One way is just more expensive than the other. Since my wife has a good job and earns close to what I do, she didn't think the judge would award her alimony. And all of that, plus dividing up the property and other things, can be negotiated before the judge gets involved. The bad news was, due to the holidays, they couldn't have papers ready before Christmas, but definitely would be before the end of the year. She advised me to say nothing until she got served. She gave me a list of things to do before and after Christmas before they served my wife. One thing they did point out was, since we were actively trying to have a baby, there was a possibility that my wife didn't know that the child wasn't mine. My wife has an appointment with her OBGYN tomorrow. By the way, I want to thank Bob for sending me this story. Hi, Bob. Everybody take a shot now. Sorry, old TV sitcom joke. I want your personal stories to share. If you see an article online you think I should cover it, send the whole story and the link, just in case it's not there by the time I get to it. Email it to stories@magicsmonologue.com. This way, others can learn from your victories, defeats, as we work to not only support each other, but help others become better men. As of late, this platform has been a bit hostile to men's channels as they seek to silence your voice. Therefore, I want to personally thank you for the thumbs up you've given me, your smart choice to subscribe for future videos, sharing this everywhere, and your feedback in the comments section. This is the best way to spit in the eye of the algorithm defiantly. If you have a moment, stop by my community page and vote on my survey. Should I keep the bow ties or ditch them? In doing so, you are certainly helping to educate other men and definitely piss off a Karen near you. Until next time. Thank you for watching. Before you leave, check out some of my other videos.